Hey everyone, so I wanted to talk to you about what we are moving into right now, which is angles and angles relationships. This is the first of two lessons, so next class we will look into this as well. So you guys know what an angle looks like. Just wanted to go through some basic vocabulary. So that corner of the angle is known as a vertex, right? And so when we are able to identify the vertex and we want to give a name, right? If we were to name this angle, you could name it based on the vertex. This is called angle A. You also can name it with the other 2 points that are on there so long as the vertex is in the middle. So this can also be called angle CAB. Do you see the order? It's important. Or this can be called angle BAC. I cannot call this angle CBA. That is incorrect because A is the vertex. And so A needs to be in the middle of all of my names. Okay, an angle is made up of 2 rays. So a ray goes on forever in one direction, and they have a common endpoint right here. Okay, so the vertex is the common endpoint. So that's just a little bit of a basics on some angles. Let's get into some angle relationships. Okay. Complementary angles are angles that sum to 90 degrees. So 60 degrees plus 30 degrees equals 90 degrees, making this complementary angles for that reason. Okay, they don't have to be next to each other, but they just have to sum to 90 degrees. Supplementary angles are angles that add to 180 degrees. So for example, 60 plus 120, this is equal to 180 degrees, which is supplementary angles. Notice that they don't have to be next to each other necessarily, like attached to each other like we see here at the very bottom. The very bottom, because 130 and 50 make 180, these are also supplementary angles. But because the angles are something that we call adjacent, meaning attached to each other or next to each other, we can also call these a linear pair. These right here, the 2 angles at the top, are not a linear pair because they are not attached to each other or adjacent to each other. They have to be adjacent. So my 2 angles down here have 2 names for that reason. Okay, so complementary, 90 degrees. Supplementary, 180 degrees. Okay, so that's going to be really, really important for you to know. Let's take a look at example 1 and classify the angle relationships. So we're going to classify them like supplementary, complementary, and so forth if they have a relationship. So let's look at A. A, I have 70 degrees plus 110 degrees. That is equal to 180 degrees. So A is supplementary. It is not a linear pair because they are not attached to each other. For B I have 41 plus 49. And this is actually equal to 90 degrees. So these in B are complementary. In C, let's take a look at C. I have 128 plus 62. Okay, 128 plus 62 is actually equal to 190. 190 is not the same as 180. It is not the same as 90. So since it is, and it's not a linear pair, right? It's not making a line. No line, so this is neither, because it is not 180 or 90 degrees. Solving for the missing angle, the first thing that I notice is that symbol right there. That symbol means 90 degrees or a right angle. So this also tells me that these angles are complementary. And complementary angles add to 90 degrees. So 50 plus x is equal to 90 degrees. Using my algebra, I know that I subtract 50 on both sides, and I get that x is equal to 40 degrees. So that's what my missing angle is equal to. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to solve for the missing angle. I notice that there are two angles that make a line. Do you see that line? So this means that this is a linear pair. And linear pairs are also supplementary, which means that they add to 180 degrees. So 85 plus x is equal to 180. Subtract 85 from both sides. Be careful with your math. This is equal to 95 degrees, and that would be your missing angle. Find the value of both angles. I'm also noticing the line right here. So linear pair, which is the same as supplementary, which is 180 degrees. So that means that the first, I'm going to call this angle 1, and I'm going to call this angle 2. This means that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to 180 degrees. So angle 1 is 5x minus 18, and I am going to add this to angle 2, and angle 2 is 4x plus 45, and this has to add to 180 degrees. I'm going to combine my like terms. I have 5x and 4x, and then I also have minus 18 and plus 45. 5x plus 4x is equal to 9x, and then negative 18 plus 45, be careful with this because they're opposite signs, is 27. I want a minus 27 on both sides, and I get 9x is equal to 180 minus 27, which I'm definitely using a calculator. I get 153. To solve for x, we divide by 9 on both sides, and we get that x is equal to 17. Now here's a catch. It says find the value of both angles, which means I need to take x and I need to substitute x everywhere that I see it. Oops, not writing. Everywhere that I see it. I'm going to plug in x into angle 1 and see what I get when I plug into angle 1. Okay? So in the case of x, I would get 5, substitute x is 17 minus 18. That's going to give me angle 1. 5 times 17 is 85, minus 18 is 67. So the angle 1 is equal to 67 degrees. Since I know that they have to add to 180 in order for me to figure out what this angle is equal to instead of plugging in, I can do 180 minus 67. And that should tell me what my following angle is equal to. That means that this is equal to 113. So I'm going to try, I know that this is messy, I really apologize. This angle right here is 67 degrees, and this angle right here is 113 degrees. And now I have solved for both angles. Final example in this set of problems, we see that we have an angle A, angle B. We're told they're supplementary, which means that they sum to 180 degrees. We want to find the value of x, and then we want to find the value of angle A and angle B. So this is similar to the previous one, where we're going to add the two angles, angle A plus B, that equals 180. Okay, let me erase this a little bit so it looks a little better. So that means I have 7x plus 5 plus 28x, right, because that's what angle B is equal to, equals 180. I'm going to combine my like terms. Looks like the only like terms that I have are x terms. right? So I am going to add 7x to 28x, and I get 35x plus 5 is equal to 180. I subtract the 5 from both sides. So that's going to give me 35x is equal to 175, right? And then, because I want to get x by itself, I'm going to divide by 35. And I get that x is equal to 5. So that's the first thing that I needed. Found the value of x, and then it says find the value of angle A and angle B. So the measure of angle A, remember, is 7x plus 5x is equal to 5. So angle A is equal to 7 times x is 5 plus 5. 7 times 5 is 35 plus 5 is 40. So then angle A is equal to 40. And since angle A plus angle B is equal to 180, then 40 plus angle B is equal to 180. I subtract the 40. Some of you can do this in your head, and I get the angle B is equal to 140, and now I have fully solved this problem. Okay, you have a few practice problems to do, and then you'll move on to video number 2.